Step into any Aussie chemist and you're hit by a wall of glossy promises. You fork out $30 for vitality, but behind the marketing lies a clinical betrayal. We've torn apart the data on 12 major Aussie brands to expose it, 8 you should blacklist immediately, and only 4 worth your trust. We're talking premium vitamins with pathetic 8% absorption rates, fizzy tablets loaded with 25% of the recommended daily salt limit, and risky megadoses designed for shelf life and stability, not your cells. This is the chemistry of shrinkflation, where profit trumps your well-being. We're exposing the legal loopholes and dodgy manufacturing flaws to give you a consumer's veto. Stop buying into a marketing budget. Start feeding a biological need. If you ignore the science now, you're just paying for a false sense of security. Let's name names. We begin at the foundation of the Australian vitamin market. Swisse is arguably the most recognizable household name in the country. You find them in every pharmacy and supermarket from Perth to Brisbane. Their standard vitamin D3 supplement relies on cholecalciferol. On the surface, it's a standard boost. However, clinical research reveals a significant gap. A 2022 study published in the journal Nutrients compared standard cholecalciferol to calcifediol, a more advanced form of the vitamin. The data was startling. Cholecalciferol only raised average serum levels by about 8%. In contrast, calcifediol delivered a serum increase roughly 30% higher over the same period. For an Australian over 40 relying on D3 for bone density, that 22% difference isn't just a number, it's the difference between protecting your skeletal health and slowly losing it while thinking you're safe. Most consumers only see the milligram count on the front of the Swisse bottle. They never see these absorption numbers. This reliance on cheaper synthetic forms sets a worrying precedent. When the chemical form is fundamentally less effective, the promise on the bottle simply doesn't match the chemistry in your blood. It's an affordable option, yes, but it's an affordability that comes at the cost of actual results. But the problem isn't always the chemistry. Sometimes it's the physics. Blackmores dominates the shelves with a massive range, but many of their mass-market products suffer from a mechanical flaw. To produce vitamins at this scale, tablets are often pressed with immense force. Research in the International Journal of Pharmaceutics measured tablet hardness and found that when compression reaches 30 kilopascals, a common manufacturing level, only about 45% of the vitamin C was actually released within the first 30 minutes. Think about that. The United States Pharmacopeia, which sets global standards, requires at least 75% dissolution in that window. If a tablet is pressed so hard it becomes a rock, it acts as a physical barrier in your stomach. You might be swallowing a full daily dose, but if it doesn't break down quickly enough, that tablet simply passes through your system unused. For the many Australians reaching for Blackmores, the issue isn't the formula, it's the fact that the nutrients are literally trapped inside the pill. Have you ever noticed a tablet that seems impossible to break in half? I'd be curious to know if you've ever felt like your vitamins were sitting like a lead weight in your stomach. This leads us to a different kind of concern, the blurring of lines between medicine and candy. Nature's Way has built its brand on family-friendly nutrition, specifically their popular gummies. But these come with a hidden nutritional penalty. Each serving contains 2 grams of added sugar. For a child, that's 8% of the World Health Organization's recommended daily limit for free sugars. In these products, sugar and glucose syrup often appear on the ingredient list before any actual active nutrients. The vitamin content in these gummies is frequently well below therapeutic levels. To get a meaningful dose, a child would need to eat several, multiplying their sugar intake and reinforcing a habit of associating health with sweets. It's a shortcut that prioritizes taste and texture over nutrient density. For parents, the bright packaging looks like a safe win, but the data suggests it's more of a confectionery than a supplement. And then there is the issue of hidden in plain sight minerals. Cenovis has been a fixture in Australia for decades, particularly their zinc products. Most of these rely on zinc oxide. It's an inorganic salt that is incredibly cheap to manufacture but notoriously difficult for the human body to process. Clinical studies show that zinc oxide delivers an average absorption of just 4% to 10%, often cited at a maximum of 15% bioavailability. Compare that to zinc picolinate, a chelated form found in higher quality brands, which reaches about 35% absorption. That is more than double the effective dose for the exact same label amount. If your Cenovis bottle promises 25 milliliters of zinc, your body might only be receiving 3.5 milliliters. This isn't just an academic debate, it's a systemic choice by the manufacturer to prioritize profit margins over biological efficacy. Australians are left with a false sense of security, believing they are covering their nutritional bases when their body is actually starving for the mineral promised on the label. As we move toward the more premium end of the market, the issues become more complex. Ethical nutrients is often marketed as a practitioner-grade choice. However, their B-complex formulas frequently engage in ingredient stacking. Some of their doses reach 150 micrograms of vitamin B12 per day. To put that in perspective, the Australian Recommended Dietary Intake, RDI, is just 2.4 micrograms. That's more than 60 times the daily requirement. Systematic reviews warn that at these megadose levels, the body absorbs less than 2% of the intake, excreting the rest. There is no proven clinical benefit to these extreme levels for a healthy adult. Instead, it creates a fog of overlapping nutrients that makes it impossible for you to know what you actually need. Premium branding gives the illusion of superiority, but the science doesn't support piling on excess. For Australians seeking targeted nutrition, this isn't extra health, it's just extra confusion and expensive waste. The convenience factor also hides some uncomfortable truths. Boost effervescent tablets have become a staple in Australian kitchens. They're fast, they're fizzy, and they taste like soda, but each tablet contains 250 mg of sodium. If you take 2 tablets a day, you've already consumed 25% of the Australian Dietary Guidelines maximum salt intake before you've even had breakfast. High sodium intake is directly linked to increased blood pressure and heart disease risk. Most people don't look at a vitamin as a source of salt, yet a single Boost tablet can rival the sodium content of a small bag of chips. The convenience and bright flavors mask the reality. These supplements can quietly push your sodium intake into the red zone. Is a quick fizz worth the long-term strain on your cardiovascular system? I've often wondered if we'd still buy these if the label said salt tablet instead of vitamin C. Then there are the global brands that fail to adapt to local needs. NatureAid is a massive name, but their Australian formulas often miss the mark. Their prenatal vitamins contain 0.15 mg of iodine. While this meets pregnancy guidelines, it falls short for breastfeeding mothers who need 0.22 milliliters daily, according to the National Health and Medical Research Council. This isn't a minor detail. Iodine is critical for a baby's developing brain and thyroid function. When a complete supplement misses a requirement by a third, the risk is invisible. Most Australian-owned brands adjust for these local guidelines, but global giants like NatureAid often stick to a one-size-fits-all formula. It's a reminder that a brand can be trusted worldwide while still failing to meet the specific biological needs of an Australian mother. Even the most famous complete vitamins have significant flaws. Centrum Advance is one of the top-selling multivitamins in the country, but its one-size-fits-all approach creates a hidden penalty for men. Each tablet contains 18 milliliters of elemental iron. For an adult Australian man, the RDI is only 8 mmol. You are taking 225% of your daily requirement every single day. Iron deficiency is rare among Australian men, and excess iron intake is linked to oxidative stress and cellular damage over time. While 18 milliliters is perfect for women of childbearing age, it is an avoidable load for men. Centrum's formula looks convenient, but it ignores the fundamental differences in male and female nutritional needs. This blanket dosing is the opposite of personalized health. It's a manufacturing shortcut. And this is where we have to look at the bigger picture. You might think these are just 12 different brands making 12 different mistakes, but the reality is more unsettling. This is a systemic issue. The Australian vitamin market is worth billions, and the regulations allow brands to prioritize shelf stability and manufacturing efficiency over human biology. Brands use zinc oxide because it's a dry powder that's easy to put into a capsule, not because it works best. They use hard compression because it makes the tablets last longer on the shelf, not because your stomach can digest them. They use one-size-fits-all formulas because it's cheaper to manufacture one product for the whole world than to tailor it for Australians. The problem isn't just one bottle, it's that the entire system is designed to sell you the idea of health while providing the bare minimum of biological utility. And this is where the safe brands begin to look very different. Moving into the safe category, we see a shift in philosophy. Bioceuticals stands apart because they focus on the form of the nutrient. Their B12 supplements use methylcobalamin, a bioidentical form. Studies in the Journal of Nutrition confirm that this form has an absorption rate of up to 97%, compared to the 65% seen in the synthetic cyanocobalamin used by mass-market brands. This is the difference between a vitamin that actually enters your cells and one that just changes the color of your urine. Bioceuticals is practitioner grade, meaning it's often sold through pharmacists or nutritionists. It's more expensive, yes, but you are paying for efficacy, not just a filler. For anyone with a real deficiency, the choice of form is the only thing that matters. Purity is the next pillar of safety. Thorne has built a reputation on transparency. An independent analysis in 2024 found that Thorne's multivitamins contained only 1.8% fillers or excipients by weight. Compare that to the market average of 7% or more. They use minimal amounts of magnesium stearate, a common flow agent that can sometimes interfere with absorption. When you look at a Thorne label, the ingredient list is short and clear. They manufacture in TGA-certified facilities, ensuring that what is on the label is exactly what is in the pill. For Australians who want to avoid unnecessary additives and hidden extras, this minimalist approach offers a level of peace of mind that supermarket brands simply cannot match. For those who demand absolute precision, Pure Encapsulations has set a new benchmark. In 2023, the United States Pharmacopeia, USP, conducted an independent audit of their products. They found that their label claims matched actual potency with 99.8% accuracy. In a world where label drift is common, this level of precision is almost unheard of. They use pharmaceutical-grade manufacturing standards to minimize contaminants and batch variation. While their formulas are still designed for general use, the reliability they offer is a gold standard for consistency. If you are someone who tracks your blood work and needs to know exactly how many milligrams you are consuming, this is one of the few brands you can truly trust. Finally, we reach the top of the list, practitioner-only Australian supplements. These brands, often available only through a consultation with a GP, naturopath, or dietitian, represent the gold standard of supplementation. They are not designed for the masses, they are designed for the individual. A 2025 survey of Australian dietitians found that these supplements achieved 4 times better alignment with a patient's actual nutrient requirements than mass-market products. Because they are professionally guided, you avoid the risks of one-size-fits-all dosing, like the iron overload in Centrum or the sodium in Voost. The manufacturing standards are the strictest in the industry, with rigorous TGA oversight on every batch. It's not just about the quality of the pill, it's about the safety of the strategy. Personalized guided nutrition isn't just a premium service, it's the only way to ensure your supplements are actually doing what you think they are. When we look across all 12 brands, a clear pattern emerges. The Australian vitamin market is built on the illusion of safety. We see a familiar brand, a green and gold logo, or a celebrity endorsement, and we lower our guard. But as the data shows, quality is the exception, not the rule. Most vitamins on our shelves put marketing and manufacturing convenience before meaningful health outcomes. The risk isn't always a poisonous formula. Often the risk is much quieter. It's the risk of thinking you are treating a deficiency while your body is only absorbing 8% of the dose. It's the risk of slowly accumulating excess iron or sodium because the brand didn't think to tailor its formula. It's the risk of expensive urine, where your hard-earned money is literally flushed away because the tablet was too hard to dissolve. To protect yourself, you need to adopt 3 simple principles. First, check the form. Look for picolinate or citrate instead of oxide. Look for methylcobalamin instead of cyanocobalamin. The chemical name matters more than the brand name. Second, beware the extras. If a vitamin tastes like candy or fizzes like a soft drink, ask yourself what you're sacrificing for that flavor. Usually it's purity or heart health. Third, prioritize professional advice. A 15-minute conversation with a qualified health professional can save you hundreds of dollars in ineffective supplements and protect you from the one-size-fits-all trap. Knowledge is your only real protection in a market built on trust but driven by profit. You now have the data to look at that pharmacy shelf differently. You have the filter to see the difference between a high-dose promise and a high-absorption reality. Which of these brands surprised you the most? Have you been taking one of the avoid brands and noticed a lack of results? Or have you made the switch to a practitioner-grade supplement and felt the difference? I'd love to hear your experiences in the comments below. Your story might be the one that helps someone else make a better choice. If you found this investigation helpful, make sure to like the video and share it with someone who cares about their health. And if you want more evidence-based breakdowns of the products you use every day, subscribe and hit the bell icon. We don't just look at the labels, we look at the science. Thanks for watching and stay informed. Disclaimer: this content is intended for educational and consumer awareness purposes. Our analysis is based on publicly available nutritional data and product labeling. Decisions regarding health and purchasing should be made at the viewer's discretion.